the first thing you want to do is unplug the machine. Then we got to get this door open. Sometimes it ends up pretty stuck. I just pry it open. I got myself a latch and a door lock, just in case. Sometimes this will break when I try to pry the door open. And then I got the door latch assembly. So I'm going to just pry the door open. On this one, it's opening from this side. Second thing, around here there's a metal ring with a spring on it. I'm going to grab that there with a channel lock and peel off the metal ring. You want to be careful, take it off evenly so that it does not warp or bend or break. So right off. Keep this attached. Throw it in there. Then you want to peel this into the machine. Now here's the door lock. There's a wire that plugs in. I'm gonna first just remove these T20, so Torx 20 screw. I'm going to free up the door lock. Disconnect it. Once it's unscrewed, you can unplug it if you like. Sometimes it falls in or something. I'm just going to unscrew it and unplug it after. So once you unscrew it, look behind it, there's a little tab here. It has two plugs, one on the top. So that when the clip pushes up, so I actually broke that clip. Instead of pulling it out, you're supposed to push it in and then this plug pops out. So I had it backwards. So it's broken. That's not going to be a problem as long as I don't break this piece, so it can clip in. So I broke it. So I took a tiny screwdriver and I literally popped it forward, and now I'm going to pull that plug out. I'm doing it with one hand, so it's kind of hard to get it all. But that top one, that's where the white wire went. This bends back, and then you pull the white one out. This one, on yours, you push it at the top, you prise this out, and then you pull up the black connector. Just like that. Now to put the lock in. So this time I'm gonna put the lock in first, and then I'm gonna plug it in. You could do it either way. So I'm just gonna put the two screws back in the face of this. So a little tip, these metal screws go into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten them. So I usually put one in, put the second one in. Right when it starts to bite, I make sure that my lock is centered, and then I'll give it a couple turns until you can feel it kind of bite. You don't want to over torque this. As soon as you get some resistance, you can leave it alone. Now we have the two plugs. The white one goes on top. Once it clicks, it's in. Right there, you're gonna hear it click. It's in. That's in. Now, this seal is very important. I don't take it all the way off. I just took off this area. This part's still tucked in. This part is not tucked in. But there's a lip on the machine. You want to make sure that the rubber lip goes over that lip. All around. Once you have it in all around, you need to double and triple check. So just push this in, make sure it sits well. Otherwise you're going to have a big leak, or you can tear it, and then you run your finger along the groove, make sure it's in. So the next step is pretty difficult. This spring retainer has to tuck in the groove as far as you can get it, and I usually get it on one side in. Then I will grab a channel lock or a vice grip, and I usually grab it here. And you need 2 hands for this. Sometimes you need 3 hands for this. And what you have to do is stretch the spring out and then immediately tuck it under there and make sure that it's uniformly tucked in. So if at the end, if you get it in but it's on the gasket like this, you have to start over and make sure that the entire wire is tucked in behind that. And I can't do this with one hand, so I'm gonna have to put the phone down, pop it on, and try to explain it in detail. Okay, so once you tuck that wire in, you keep half of it under the gasket, the other half hangs out. Then I take my channel lock, I grab the other part of the wire, usually there, not the spring. I don't grab the ring on the spring, I grab the wire, and then with one hand I hold the tucked in part. Usually about this much stays untucked. You can only tuck in about half of that wire. I usually hold it where it's tucked in with my other hand, and the channel lock, grabbing that spring, I stretch it as far as I can, and then I try to tuck in the rest of the wire, and then I push the channel lock in and release the spring. And sometimes you have to force the wire behind the groove. Now, it took me years to get that down, so you may be having some trouble. So when you're done, you want to make sure that the ring is tucked in all around, it's not biting on this gasket at all, and that you didn't rip it anywhere. You have to be very careful with this gasket. It's very hard to do. Don't get discouraged. Keep trying it. And I mean, if I could do it, you could do it. So just give it a shot. Make sure it's all seasoned. Now I'm going to test the machine. Before, the door wouldn't open, or it would click multiple times, and we wouldn't get any operation out of it, and we were getting an error code. There's the door lock. Working. When I first got here, I couldn't test anything out because the door lock wouldn't allow anything else to proceed. So now that we have a door lock in, I just wanted to test out the operation, the drain pump, the water, the motor, everything else, and it seems to all be working fine.